Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to do speech to text translation in Expo React Native. So let's get started. Now I know there is text to speech functionality in Expo React Native, but there is no speech to text. That's why I'm making this video. Also for this video we will be making use of native modules, so we will need to write some native code as well. So yeah, without any further delay, so let's get started. Right, so first we need to go to this particular URL to create an Expo React Native project. Now there are different templates for creating this projects. We will be using this blank TypeScript template. So I will be just copying this particular command to create Expo React Native project using this blank TypeScript template. The advantage is that it has very less boilerplate code, and it also has TypeScript support. That's why I'm using it. Now we need to give our app some name, so it will ask us for an app name. I'll just give it as my app. You can name it whatever you feel like. So let it do its thing. In the next step which we need to follow is we'll just have to go to this particular URL and just open it in a new tab. So first we need to go to the Android device, go to select development build. I have disabled EAS because we will be building it locally. Then select Mac OS. I have already installed this command. I have already installed this. I have already installed this. I have already installed Android Studio, and I have already done all the required setup which is necessary for which is mentioned in the documentation. Okay, then I have already set this Android home path as well, and I've also set this z shell or environment variables inside our shell. Then we need to run this particular command, so I'll just copy it, and here we'll have to cd to our app. So our app has finished installing. I'll run this command. So let's just wait for this to finish. In the meantime, what we can do is we'll just scroll down and copy this command as well. So this will basically help us to create the Android folder for us. So this will actually create the native Android code which is necessary. So I'll just copy this command and paste it. Again, this will run some things and it will create the Android folder for us, so don't worry too much about it. Okay, so that's it for the Android part. Then you will have to go to the iOS device part. Again, select development build. Here you can disable EAS. I have already installed Xcode as well. I have already installed Xcode command line tools as well. I have already installed Watchman. We have already ran this command, so we don't need to run it again. If you want, you can run it. And then we need to run this particular command, so I'll just copy this. So here you can see like before I run this particular command, here you can see for that Android command which we ran, I get this error. Now this is not really an error. It is because I don't have an Android emulator installed and I have not connected my real Android device. That's why it is throwing me this error. It's not really an error. In your case, it might have selected the Android emulator whichever you have installed, or a real device if you have connected it to your laptop. But yeah, we don't need to run it again. You can just do Control C to dismiss this, because we haven't written any code, so no point in running it again. Same thing will happen for iOS as well, but for iOS do have a simulator installed. Any which ways, we are not going to test it on an emulator or a simulator. I'll test it on a real device. Then I'll just paste this command. Now this will take a little bit of time to run because it needs to do all the CocoaPod installation as well. So let it do its thing. In the meantime, what I want to show it to you is this particular docs. So this will help us to create the native modules for us, in which we will be writing all the required necessary code. So here is the this is how we add a new module, but we'll need to wait for this iOS command to finish. So let it finish, then I'll come back and show the next steps to you. Okay, so here you can see it is asking me to run it on a simulator. I won't run it. I'll just press Ctrl C. Then, like I mentioned, we need to copy this command and paste it over here. Now this will ask us few questions like what should be our module name and all that stuff. I'll keep everything as default and just press enter and let it do its thing. Now given that we have installed this particular module for iOS, we again need to run this pod installation command for our module as well. So just go this and just paste this command as well. Again, now let it do its thing. This is just a cheat sheet which I have created, so don't get too confused. Again, this will take a bit of time, so let it do its thing. Here you can see it is installing that module. So what I will do now is I'll just remove this. Okay, I'll just open our project. So I'll just go, so here is my project. Now what I'll do is I will write down all the necessary code, come back and then explain it to you and show you guys the output as well. Let's see how to implement the code. So I've written down all the code. Let me explain it to you. So first you will have to go to modules, my module, and here you will have to go to src and then go to my module.ts. Here I have written two methods, start recording and stop recording. Now for Android we will be only using the start recording, we won't be using stop recording. I will explain, like once you guys see the demo, then things would be more clearer why we are not using stop recording for Android. So stop recording is iOS only, and we are returning promise of void. Now the actual output we will be sending with the help of this particular thing called change event payload, which is present by default when you create an Expo module. So we don't have to add any additional code, and I will be using this value, variable or property, whatever you want to call it, to send the data from native Android or iOS side back to React Native or Expo side. So that's what we are using. Next, let's see how to first use it. Go to app.tsx. Here you can see I have imported our module. I have imported this touchable, opacity, text and view as well, and use state and use effect from React as well. Then here I have created one use state. This is our text element and this is our use effect. So we are continuously listening for this on change event, which again was defined by default when we create this Expo React Native module, and we are listening for this value property. Once it is not equal to undefined, null or empty string, then only we set the text to it by using this set text property. And here we can remove the subscription using subscription.remove. Here I have created one touchable opacity, and we just do await my module.start recording. Here is the start recording button, and for platform OS equal to iOS, here I have created another touchable opacity button, and here we just call stop recording as well. So yeah, that's what we are doing over here. And here is our text element, where we are displaying the actual text which is sent after recording our speech and convert it to text on native side. So that's what we are displaying over here. So as you can see, this is only for iOS, so pretty simple on the UI side. Then you will just have, for iOS, go to the main iOS folder, go to my app, go to info.plist, and first you need to add two permissions. First is this NS microphone usage description permission, and you need to specify why you require this permission, as well as NS speech recognition usage description permission, and also specify why you require this permission. So these two are important. Then you need to go to the iOS folder of your my module, and here you will go to my module.swift. First you have to import AV foundation as well as speech. Then here you will have to create one class called audio recorder manager, which extends from NS object as well as AV recorder delegate. Then here I have created an AV audio session, AV audio recorder as well as documents path. Here I have created two callbacks on recording finish and in case of on error. And once this class is initialized, we set the document path using file manager as well. So this is the start recording, in which we just call setup recording session. Here we just initialize our recording session. We set recording session.set category as well. We set active as true, and then we request the permission and record as well. So here inside request permission and record, on the main thread we request for the record permission. If it is initialized, then only we call this initialize recorder method. Otherwise we send an error back inside the callback. And inside initialize record, we just create an audio file. We use the settings as well. Then we initialize our audio recorder. We set the delegate as well and just call record. So if you see over here, we are extending this delegate. So that's what we were doing over there. So yeah, here, and then we just call record. In case of again error, I just call this on error callback, and this is for stop recording. So we just do audio recorder dot stop, get our audio file name, and on recording finished, we just pass the audio file name, and audio recorder is equal to nil, and audio recorder did finish recording. In case if there is again error, again I'll just cause the on error callback. Then I have created a separate class for speech recognition manager as well. Then here we just initialize the SF speech recognizer. Again two callbacks, one for converting the transcription and once for error. So here we initialize our recognizer. Then we have one method called request permission and transcribe. So we request the permission first, then on the main thread, if it is recognized, if it is authorized, then we only do transcribe audio, otherwise we return an error back. And in case of transcribe audio, we get the URL, then we just do sf speech URL recognition request, then we just do recognizer dot recognition request, pass our request to it. And here we, once we get the result, we just if result is final, then we get the best transcription out of it and convert it to a string and call this callback. In case of error, we just do again send the error back. Then this is the actual my module class. So we initialize the two class which we have created at the top, and here I have overriding this on create callback. So here we just method which is present by default. So you should see this method already inside your module. And here we just inside on create, we just do setup callbacks. Now this all code is present by default inside an module once you create an Expo native module. So I have not touched any of these things. Everything, this also is present by default, this also is here I have just defined two methods, one called start recording, one called stop recording. Now the method name should be same what you have described it inside your TypeScript file. And here we just do start recording of audio recorder and stop recording of our audio recorder. And here is our setup callback. So once audio recorder on recording finished, then we get the audio URL, and then we just do speech recognizer dot request permission and transcribe, pass the audio URL. And in case of on error, we get the error back and send the error back to React Native side. In case of transcription complete, we get the transcription, send it back to React Native side. And in case of this error as well, we send the error back to React Native side. So yeah, that's it on iOS side. I'll simply scroll through this file one more time. Feel free to pause the video wherever you feel like and just copy the code. Okay, then for Android, you will have to go to the Android folder, go to src. I don't think I have added anything in build.kt. Yeah, nothing. Go to Java, go to mymodule.kt. Firstly, you will have to add few imports. One is this activity result. Okay, second one is intent, recognizer intent, a toast message. Then these three I think should be present by default for you, don't change it. And this should be Java util local as well. And inside our module, first we create this variable because we have to use start activity for result. Now some of you might be thinking, okay, start activity for result is deprecated, you should use register for activity result. Now it is very difficult to use register for activity result inside a module, Expo module. Like register for activity result is typically used inside an activity or a fragment, and given that it is neither one of them, it becomes very difficult. I don't know how to really use it. Like I have tried looking into some of the other Expo libraries, it was very difficult and extremely complicated, at least for me. But if you know a better way to do these things, do let me know in the comments. Then here we get hold of our context as well as activity. Then again, this code is present by default, so I'm not doing anything over here. Again, I'll just scroll down. Here is our method called start recording. So here we create an intent, we put the extra to it, extra language model free form. Then we put the extra of recognizer intent dot extra language. Then we get the local dot get default intent dot put extra, we put the extra prompt speak to text. You can change this to whatever you feel like. And then we start the activity result and we pass the request code speech input. And in case of exception, if you want, you can send this error back to React Native side, but I'm just displaying a toast message. And here we override this on activity result as well. So once we get the data out of it, we just check if the request code is the same which we have passed, and if the result is okay, then we get an array list of string of data dot get string array list and extra result, and converting it to an array list of string. But while sending it, we again convert it back to convert array list of string to just string. So that's what we are doing over here and sending it back to React Native. Now just like we are sending the actual data, you can also send the error as well back to React Native side using this particular bit of code. But instead of this particular thing, it should be whatever error you are getting, like maybe e.message. So yeah, that should be it. That's how you do things. Now let's see the output. Okay, so this is the Android output. I'll just click on the start recording button. Hello, this is coding with nobody. And here you can see it has converted our speech to text. Now let's see the iOS output. Okay guys, so here is the output for my iOS device. So I'll just click on the start recording button. it will ask you for some permission. I have just started talking. Hello, this is coding with nobody. I'll click on stop recording, and here you can see once you click on stop recording as well, you will see some permission. You will have to allow it. I have already granted those permission because I was testing it before I can record this and show it to you. So here you can see these all things I have spoken after clicking on start recording. That's why I've printed it out, all this stuff. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.